Hello, everyone. Good morning. I'm Claire, and I'm the Programme Manager for the Summer Reading Challenge here at the Reading Agency. So for those of you who don't know us, the Reading Agency is a national charity empowering people of all ages to read, because everything for our Marvellous Makers live stream event with this year's Summer Reading Challenge illustrator, Natelle Quek. We're really excited to see so many people joining this morning, whether you're streaming into your library or watching along at home. So in a few moments, I'll hand over to Natelle, who's going to show us how to draw Bob the dog, one of our wonderful Summer Reading Challenge characters this year. But before we start, let me tell you a little bit about why we're all here today. So this summer, libraries across the country are buzzing with excitement for the Marvellous Makers Summer Reading Challenge. It's a great opportunity for all of you to dive into new stories, unleash your creativity, and have a blast at your local library. And you can see the wonderful collector poster that Natelle is holding up on screen there. So from building to junk to making music, from dancing to drawing, there are so many free activities waiting for you at the library. If you're not taking part in the challenge already, you can pop into your local library to sign up, or visit summerreadingchallenge.org.uk to sign up online. Or if you've already signed up, well done. Don't forget to keep track of what you read, and if you're able to, pop into the library to see what's going on. That's definitely enough from me. So without further ado, let's welcome Natelle.
Yay! Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Hopefully you can all hear me okay. Claire, can you just give me a thumbs up to make sure I'm nice and clear? That's brilliant. Okay, so as Claire has already mentioned, my name is Natelle, and I am this year's featured illustrator for the Summer Reading Challenge. And this year's theme is all about creativity and all the creative arts. And I thought it would be fun to introduce myself in a picture book format because I am a children's picture book illustrator. So that's me. Wait, I just want to make sure that there's no glare. And here are some of the artworks that I have created in my time as an illustrator. And this was me when I was 5. As you can see, I grew up with animals. I grew up with more than just this dog, Tigger. We had lots of different animals when I was growing up. And now as an adult, I still love animals, and I live with my cat, Patch. Do any of you have animals at home? That would be so amazing. Feel free to use the chat if you'd just like to talk about your pet's names as well. And part of being a children's picture book illustrator, not only do I make books, but I also go on events with authors. I also paint on bookshop windows. So you might see me painting in one of your local bookshops one day. And I also do story times and workshops just like these. Oh, I see all the pet names coming in. That's so great. Now, I work completely digitally. So you can see my iPad in the back here. And I do everything from starting sketches to storyboarding of the illustrations and all the artwork, and then to final color art. Everything is done on my iPad. So the poster that you would have received if you are doing the Summer Reading Challenge, this entire scene was drawn on my iPad in a lot of layers. This is my office. This is where I work. That's my desk there. And if I zoom in or bring it closer, you might see my cat Patch here just hanging out with me. So I usually sit here on my iPad, draw on my iPad, and my laptop there is also connected. And here are a selection of books that I have illustrated so far. So you might recognize I Am Nefertiti here because it is one of the books that was selected to be part of the Summer Reading Challenge. And I believe Finally Seen is also, which I did the cover art for, is also one of the books in the Summer Reading Challenge list. So I would love it if you chose one of these books to read as part of your 6 books for the challenge. There are loads of other amazing books as well to read, but if you do choose one of these, that would be amazing. Okay, so that's enough about me. I hope you are all ready to draw Bob. What I need you to do is have papers in front of you. Preferably start off with a pencil if you have, and then we'll be moving on to using markers or colored pencils to go over with details. So the pencil is just so that we can do basic shapes to outline the whole shape of Bob before we go in and fill in all the details like his fur, his ears, his face, all of that. Okay, so hopefully everybody is ready with your pen and paper or pencil and paper. Now, I have an example of Bob up here, so we can keep referring to that if you need to. Bob here, if you can believe it or not, is actually mostly all circles and triangles. And by the end of this workshop, you're going to be so good at drawing circles and triangles. So you can see here his face, or his head rather, is quite a big circle. So what you're going to do is start drawing a big circle on your paper like this. And don't worry if your circle is not perfect, because my circle is definitely not perfect. In fact, I'm going to go over it multiple times just to get the basic shape. And we're going to go over it later on anyway, so it's not a big deal if it's not a big circle, a perfect circle. So hopefully you have something like this on your paper. And to do his body, Bob's body is also another circle, but I'm just going to do it lightly on here. It's kind of like an ellipse, you know, like a squish circle, sort of egg-shaped. And you're just going to draw it next to his head, just like this. Just like a little egg shape like this. Now, and if you're wondering, this doesn't look like Bob at all, don't worry, we're going to get there. Once we get the basic shape down and start filling him in, hopefully he's going to look more like Bob. And I hope everybody has lots of coloring pencils or markers with you, because if you don't, now it's a good time to get some more colors, because we are going to color Bob in at the end and make him as creative as possible, because that is the whole theme of the Summer Reading Challenge. Okay, so we've got the head and we've got the body. Now we need Bob's little legs. And you can see he's got 4 little legs. And like I said, Bob's a lot of circles and triangles. So his little legs are tiny little triangles, just like that. So you're going to do little tiny triangles on the bottom of his body, his semicircle body, his ellipse circle body. Just like that, little triangles with the points at the bottom. So now you've got the head, you've got the body, and you've got his little legs. And I'm going to switch now to a darker marker so that you can see what I'm doing. We're going to start filling his details in now. So if you'd like to switch to a pen or a marker or even a colored pencil of your choosing, feel free to do so. We are going to start with one of his ears here at the top. You can see it's kind of like a little corn chip triangle shape, again with the point at the bottom. So we're going to do triangle just like this. And then on the other side, his other ear is the same, but just a little bit more squished. And you can see the point is at the bottom because Bob has floppy ears pointing down. And then his nose, again, it's just another triangle shape. And his nose kind of lands right in the middle of his circle face here. So you can kind of roughly put it around here. If you like to add more detail, you can give him a little bit of a angle just like that. Yeah. Okay. Now we have his ears, we have his nose, and we need to add his eyes, which are, we've done a lot of triangles, and we're going back to circles. which are circles on either side of his nose. You can add a little bit of extra detail if you'd like, just like giving him some eyelids, semicircle over the eyes, and then of course, little eyebrows above his eyes, because he's a curious dog. I hope you can see Bob coming into shape now. If not, we're definitely going to get there. Okay, we have his nose, we have his eyes, and we need a great big smile to finish off his friendly face. And if you'd like, you can give him a sticky out tongue, just like this, because he's a cheeky dog. And I think I'm going to give him little tiny teeth here on the sides. So hopefully you would have already the basic shape of Bob here with his body and his legs, and then filled in his ears and his face. So now we're going to move on to filling him with lots of fur. And if you see on the top of his head here, he's got a really, really fluffy bit like this. And all you have to do is draw loads of lines next to each other, just like this. And you can make him as fuzzy as you like. So, for example, if I wanted my Bob to be extra fuzzy today, I'm going to give him loads and loads of lines. And then you're going to follow down the side of his face with more fuzzy lines. And then this other side, I'm just going to give him, follow the circle of the shape of the circle, and then I'm going to give him very, very, very fuzzy chin. And if you'd like him extra fuzzy, maybe I might make my Bob extra fuzzy today. So I'm just going to go, whoa, lots of fuzz. Lots of tiny, tiny lines next to each other to show how fuzzy he is. And you're basically done with drawing Bob's face and head. I'm just going to give him little eyes. Now, to do the body, you're going to continue with all of the fuzzy lines that you've been doing. So down the back, you're going to be so good at drawing fur now after drawing Bob. Okay, and then for his legs, you've already done the shape of the legs, so it's going to be really easy to follow the shape of the legs from here on in. So you've got the triangle leg on the front here, and what we're going to do is we're going to follow the front of the leg with a single line, and then the back of the leg is again lots and lots of fuzzy furry lines. And for his little paws, he has tiny little paws. And what I like to do is do a little squiggle just like that. Just a little squiggle to show how tiny his paws are. And then you just have to finish the rest of the legs. So second leg, line down the front. Fuzzy back leg. And tiny, tiny paws. Line down the front. Fuzzy back leg. Tiny, tiny paws. Last leg. Hopefully, everybody would have all 4 legs of Bob. Very, very fuzzy back and head. And then we're just going to connect the head to the body and the rest of the legs down to the tummy. And then to the back. And we are so, so close. We just need to finish his tail. And to do his tail, you're going to do kind of a swooping motion, like a letter C or a crescent moon shape. Swooping, just like this. Swoosh. Yeah? Swoosh. And then you're going to give him very, very fuzzy tail. It's quite hot today. So I think I'm going to give my Bob an extra fuzzy tail. Give him a really long tail so he can fan himself, swooshing. And you have officially drawn Bob the dog. I hope you had fun doing it, but we are not done yet because this year's theme is all about creativity, Marvellous Makers. And Bob is part of the creative club in Marvellous Makers. So I'd like you to have a think about what your Bob's creative endeavors would be. There are painters and photographers and musicians and comic book makers in Marvellous Makers. So maybe if your Bob likes to paint, you can give him a paintbrush to hold. And then maybe he's covered in lots of paint splatters because he's really messy. He is a dog after all. If your Bob likes music, maybe he is a singer. So we can give him a microphone. This is your chance to make your Bob however you like him to be. Maybe think about what your hobbies are. Would Bob have the same hobbies? For example, I like to play the ukulele, so maybe I'll give my Bob a tiny little guitar on his back. And of course, don't forget to put in lots and lots of music notes to show that your Bob loves music. You can be as creative as you like here, and I would love to see lots and lots of colorful Bobs. He doesn't have to be the same color as what I've drawn him in the Summer Reading Challenge. He could be rainbow colored, or he could have a purple face and a pink body, or maybe he's all green because he loves nature. Actually, my Bob loves nature too. I'm going to say, I think my Bob likes to make hats and flower arrange. So I'm going to give him a hat that he made, like a little crown, and then lots of flowers all around him. And also think about how your Bob might need to get to the creative club. Would he be on roller skates? I'm going to give my Bob roller skates. Or maybe he's on a skateboard, or maybe he's sailing to the creative club. And of course, my Bob loves to read because he wants to read up on all his hobbies and also learn about lots of other stuff. So I'm going to draw Bob a book here. I love everybody to have as much fun as you like filling in all the little details for Bob. I've got a little book here. I might do another stack of books over here. And I think my Bob is going to be outside today in the same community park that you see in the Summer Reading Challenge poster. So I'm going to give lots of grass down at the bottom and maybe some extra flowers. Oh, I just thought of something really fun. I think my Bob might also like to knit and crochet. So I'm going to give him I'm gonna give him yarn all wrapped up around his tail, a little yarn ball up here, and maybe a little crochet hook next to the books. What else can oh, of course my Bob loves music because he's a singer and he already has a little guitar. So I'm going to give him headphones to listen to, so that he can listen to music through his headphones. Hopefully your Bob is going to be covered in lots of awesome creative hobbies and all the different cool elements like flowers and music notes. And I might draw a little rainbow on his cheek. Have a look. Now the reading agency has an email that you can send to. If you'd like to share your bob with us, I would love to see what you come up with your bob. And then maybe a heart on the other side. And yeah, I hope you have lots of fun with your bob. Please take more time after the session to color in your bob and everything. One thing I'd like to mention before we move on to Q&A is that I also have made a how to draw Tails the Squirrel sheet, which you can download on the Reading Agency's website. It has a step-by-step instruction on how to draw Tails the Squirrel, and then there's a second page with little guidelines that you can follow along. And again, please be as creative as you like. Maybe think about what other hobbies Tails could have that might complement Bob. There are also a load of other activities on the Summer Reading Challenge website for you to try. And of course, if you already have the poster pack, you'll see all the different QR codes that you on the posters that you could scan, and they'll lead you to lots of different activities to try. So just one last thing, if you have yet to sign on to the Summer Reading Challenge, I greatly recommend or encourage you to check it out. All you have to do is go to your local library to ask about the Summer Reading Challenge. It's free, of course, to enter. All you need to do is read 6 books. Every time you read a book, you get some rewards. And then at the end, after your 6 books, you get a certificate and a medal. Yay! So I think that's it from me. Should we move on to Q&A?
Yes, thank you, Natelle. That was so much fun.
I hope you drew Bob as well.
My bob's a little bit squished, but yeah, everybody's enjoying colouring in their bob and adding all their fun, creative activities to their pictures. But yeah, we do have time for some questions for you. So if anyone would like to ask Natelle a question, please pop it in the Q&A box now. I can see a couple of questions coming in already. Natelle, we've got one in the chat, which has come through asking, how did you get started as an illustrator?
Oh, so I actually started running a small business. So I have been drawing for as long as I can remember. And I made a career switch to running a small business where I put a lot of my illustrations onto fabric patterns, designs, and greeting cards and stickers. And I finally discovered picture books one day when I was browsing through. I kind of moved from art books into the different sections at a bookstore, and I found these beautiful books. Namely, I'm going to name drop. I hope that's okay. I picked up a book called Cicada by Sean Tan, and I didn't know that picture books could be so amazing, you know, filled with so many wonderful worlds and stories and stuff. Because I actually didn't have a lot of picture books when I was growing up. I think I probably remember most are, you know, R.L. Stine's Goosebumps when I was growing up reading. So when I found picture books, I really didn't look back. I basically switched from putting my art into greeting cards to working on my portfolio and going into children's illustration.
Yeah, thanks, Natelle. We've had another question, more specific about what program do you use to draw on your iPad?
Oh, Procreate. And then I also transfer the final artwork into Photoshop on my laptop just to do final edits. But pretty much from starting sketches through to color work, it is in Procreate.
Thank you. Okay, we've got lots of questions coming in. Let's go with, at the top of my screen, we've got, which is your favorite character to draw and why?
Ooh, I assume from the Summer Reading Challenge. So I actually had a lot of fun drawing all of them. But I think my favorites were probably Lila and Yasmin because from memory, I think Claire, they didn't start off as twins, right? And then I think after, as we were talking along, we were just like, oh, that would be so cool if they were twins and they were really cheeky and having fun with paintbrushes. So I think that was really, really fun.
They're a couple of my favorites as well. So I love
Yeah.
it. We've got another question. What's your favorite animal?
Oh, do you know what? That's a really difficult question. But I guess the first thing that came to mind was a manatee. So I'm going to go with a manatee. I did live in Florida for a few years, and I think that really helped solidify how much I love manatees.
Amazing. We've got another question here about what's been your favorite book that you have written or I guess illustrated.
That's too hard to answer. I think all of them were so great in their own way. Every book that I've illustrated is a different experience because I work with different people. The storyline is different. And so the way I approach a book, even though I have a similar process, you kind of have to get to know the story and all the characters, and then also the people that you work with as well. So I think the answer is all of them.
Difficult one to choose.
It is.
We've had a really lovely question here asking what's the best part of your job as an illustrator?
I think um I think being able to read a story that someone has put a lot of their heart into, because as a picture book illustrator, um, we kind of, part of the process is we get given a manuscript or a picture book story that's already been pretty fully formed for quite a while, and it really means a lot to the author, and so it should. And being able to help bring their characters to life into illustrations, I think that is a really, really cool part of my job.
Thanks, Natelle. It does sound amazing. We've got so many questions coming in. Look. We've got one here about, I mean, I guess this could be to do with the summer reading challenge or illustration generally. What was the hardest character to draw? And I guess why?
Oh, hard. Do you know what? I think it was Tails. I had so many versions of Tails in that I was sketching in before I settled on one that I really, really liked. And because you can draw squirrels so many different ways, just like how you could have drawn Bob lots of different ways. I think I did share with you a few versions of Bob, maybe, or maybe I kept it to myself because I was just like, oh, I don't know which one to go with. But yeah, you would think it was one of the human characters, but absolutely not. It was Tails. So we had to make her look cheeky.
Yeah. Well, Tails and Bob have turned into a couple of favorite characters for the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely worthwhile. We've had a question about what was your first book that you illustrated?
The first book that I ever illustrated would be The Little Mermaid. It is a retelling of the classic Little Mermaid that's been reimagined for younger readers. So it is for picture book ages. And it is beautifully written by Anna Kemp. You might know Anna Kemp from her Worst Princess series or Dogs Don't Do Ballet. She's a really, really great writer. And we worked on a second picture book together called Wow Wow Wood. So that was really amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, I guess it must be very difficult to choose between all your different books.
Yeah. Oh, wait, I actually have the have I got the here. I've got the little tiny version of the cover here if anybody wanted to screenshot that so you can look it up later.
Hotel. We've had another question in the chat asking, can you enter the summer reading challenge in Cornwall? So I'll just quickly answer that one. The answer is yes. Most local libraries across the UK will be running the summer reading challenge. So if you just pop into your local library, you can find out if they are taking part this year. If you head to summerreadingchallenge.org.uk and visit the library zone, you can find out your closest local library who is running the challenge.
Oh, and if you do visit your local library, please take photos of all the Summer Reading Challenge posters and things on the libraries. I would love to see them because obviously I can't visit every single library, but it's been really great seeing pictures that my friends have taken so far of their local libraries and the different posters that are up.
Thanks, Natelle. We've had a lovely question here, Natelle, asking, what would you suggest to young drawers who want to become illustrators? Have you got any tips?
Keep practicing, and honestly, do not feel pressured or anything if you think making a mistake is going to be really tough. Creativity is all about making mistakes, and often part of the fun thing is just trying out and experimenting. And I would strongly recommend all of you to keep drawing, keep reading lots of different books as well. Check out all the picture books and art books to get inspiration. It's great.
Thanks, Natelle. I know this might be a difficult question to answer. I know it is for a lot of people, but do you have a favorite book, or perhaps a favorite?
Do you know what? I saw that question come up on the Q&A, and I was like, oh no, I have to think of something really quick. But you know what? I think, well, I'm going to say one of my favorite books probably has to be Cicada by Shantan, because it was really a revelation for me that picture books could be so much more. And I would like to say that picture books definitely aren't only just for children.
Thanks, Natelle. Okay, we're going to do one more question and then we'll need to wrap up. I'm really sorry if we haven't got through to your question. We've had so many of them coming in. It's brilliant to see how many people are really enjoying this live stream. It's, yeah, really fantastic morning. Let's do one final question, which is coming from a couple of people asking what kind of dog Bob is.
Oh, Bob is a pug mix. So I kind of had the idea that it would be really cool if maybe Bob was adopted from a shelter, and you know, he sort of looked like he could be a pug mix, but nobody really knows.
Thank you, Natelle. Okay, we have come to the end of this morning's event, sadly, but yeah, thank you very much, Natelle. This has been brilliant. And a big thank you to everybody who's joining us from home or from their local library. Don't forget to join the Summer Reading Challenge and get rewards for your reading this summer. And hopefully we'll see you all again very soon.
Thank you, everybody.